So, Jose Mourinho has been announced as the new Tottenham Hotspur manager, um, and he had his first game just recently against West Ham. 3-2 Spurs won the game, went 3-0 up, just got a bit sloppy at the end. But it's a good result to start off with. But what I wanted to talk about was the question of whether or not he'll be successful at Tottenham, which is kind of the question and the main question that a lot of people were asking. So I just wanted to kind of weigh up the facts, opinions, and kind of answer the question in today's video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is obviously the trophies he's won. He's won 3 Premier League titles, 2 Champions League titles, 1 FA Cup, 3 Spanish titles, 2 Italian titles, 1 Europa League, and there's many more. They're just the main ones. But an argument for him not being successful at Tottenham is that his coaching methods may be outdated, which I can agree with to a certain degree as well. Maybe he's a bit too harsh on his players, and he's very stubborn. And in today's football world, in management, that doesn't work because there's too much player power, and unless he changes that way, then I think it will probably be not a success at Tottenham, which will be a shame because this will kind of be his final straw to the football world, whether or not he actually is good enough to kind of manage in this new modern era in football. Another reason is that he may fall out with players, just like he did at Manchester United, just like he did at Chelsea, and I think he did that as well at Real Madrid. So he needs to kind of change his ways to like at least a bit if he wants really any long-term success out of this job. But that you could argue that that's not necessarily Jose's way. He kind of goes to everywhere 3 to 4 years, maybe even 2, and then wins some trophies and then goes to another club. But if he even wants, I think, 2, 3, 4 years of success at Tottenham, he's still got to change his ways because the football world just doesn't work like that no more. Like I said earlier about player power, etc. But on that note, there's not many big personalities at Spurs, which will obviously play into Jose's hand at Tottenham because he usually likes to be the biggest personality at the club, and he didn't have that at Chelsea. He didn't have that at Manchester United. There was bigger personalities in the players and in the team. But Ericsson, a couple of other players, they have been kind of like that with Poch. So, even though they're not big personalities, they still could fall out with a manager and still, kind of stop playing as well because they're not playing for the manager. That still definitely could happen. You don't have to have big personalities for that necessarily to happen. But overall, I think Jose's got the advantage here, and he's definitely going to like that there's not many big personalities in that changing room, and that he's probably the biggest one there. But on a kind of more serious note, he may have actually changed his ways because they did say in the media towards the end of his Manchester United reign, his dad did pass away, and it kind of in interviews it changed him a bit. I don't know if that was just obviously feeling remorse and stuff like that, but it could actually affect his football career, managing career, and if it does, I think it will do it for the better. Obviously, it's a shame that it's taken something that drastic to kind of get him to change his ways. But from Tottenham fans and Tottenham's perspective, they've got a lot of hope there in kind of hoping that he's changed his ways to kind of the modern football era. And it kind of is a shame that it has changed, because, you know, Jose was in his prime a very, very successful manager. And also, kind of another question is, what is success at Tottenham? Because they haven't won a trophy in I don't know how many years. But, you know, what is success? Is that a League Cup? Is that an FA Cup? Is that success for Jose at Tottenham? Like, we don't know. Because if that is the case, then my answer to the question is yes, he will be successful. Because I just think that Jose will win them at least one trophy. But the kind of the value of that trophy is kind of up for debate. And I don't think he'll be able to win the Premier League with them while he's there at the club, or the Champions League. Even though he did get to the final last season, I think that was kind of a fluke. So, you know, it really does depend what your definition of success is at Tottenham. But my final thoughts are, if he wins a League Cup and you call that success, then yeah, I think that's going to be he's going to be successful. But if you want him to be successful in a way of winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, that's not going to be the case, in my opinion.